I'm doing great. It's been I've been back since December in some capacity, and what that capacity is just kind of gets gradually updated. But I'm doing very, very well. It's been, I guess, trying at times, but everybody's been very supportive, and my recovery's been, a process and a learning thing for me for sure. But I've come a long way, and just continuing to get a little bit better with it each day.
Can you talk about just how tough this stretch has been for you off the ice and mentally?
Yeah, it's been tough. It's gotten a little easier every day as you get a little more integrated, and just being around the guys. The first month, obviously, very tough, and then you come back and you're very isolated with what you're doing and trying to make the baby steps to come back. Right, you're going through the protocols and all that, but you're not around the guys. And thankfully for me, I got the other affairs in order and was able to just continue to come to the rink and get a little bit better and a little stronger every day. And the guys have been great. And away from the rink, my wife's been an absolute rock star for me, allowing me to do this. So, taking on more than she's probably had to, but been absolutely incredible.
What led to this decision for Detroit to leave? I think was your last project.
Yes, something I've been battling for a while, and I've tried on my own, and I was already getting help for it. What I was doing wasn't enough. I was trying to white knuckle things and trying to do things the wrong way, and I'd have 20 days of nothing and one real bad one, and you just can't get better without it. And there's such a stigma around not asking for help, just trying to do it, and I've done that for a long time. And I finally, I guess for me, I just had, I guess you could call it a panic attack, but it was more of a realization that the route that I was going had no good end in sight. And that's not just professionally, that's personally. And I didn't want to continue to do that. I had a lot of times where I woke up in the morning just overridden with guilt and shame, and saying I would do it, doing it for 12 days and messing up again. And it just wasn't, it wasn't going to lead, it had no good end.
How tough was that decision to make? Because it's obviously a very public thing. Well, I can go through it, won't be nearly like the same as you. So how tough was you to ultimately make that call?
I think that's probably why it took me longer, because I knew, in a perfect world, I would have gone in June, right? And just kind of did it quietly. But I had to learn to kind of accept that it happens when it happens. And I spent 2 weeks agonizing over the fact that it was going to be a media thing for me. And I spent months and years before that trying to avoid that with doing it on my own. And, I got to a point where I just said enough's enough of this, of the shame and the guilt, and not being the person you need to be for your family. And it happens when it happens. I've learned that, and I'm starting to learn how to accept it a little bit. And, I've dreaded this day for the better part of 3 months. But if you're going to stand here and take time to heal yourself, you're going to have to face the music, right?
Forgive me, and I know this is a personal question, but can you tell us what you got help for?
Yeah, alcohol. Yeah, nothing more than that, thankfully.
What's the plan going forward? Are you going to play again this year?
That is the plan. I haven't been given a specific date. We've had discussions about it, and mostly the discussions have been through the other side, where I'm left out. Right, I'm kind of the last to know in that, and I have to accept that. But I know that I'm getting closer, and I know that I will definitely, yes, I will be playing, and I hope within the next 2 weeks.
Are you happy though that you went through this and now that you're on the other side?
I am, yes, yeah. I think. For me, I think I just needed to learn how to start, right? I don't have any of the fear of missing out. I don't have any of the issues with not drinking. The issue for me was stopping, right? Unfortunately. And I just had never had a period in my life where people were around me to kind of help me really stop. And it took going somewhere to figure that out, and getting myself, I guess, a dry period to start. That was very, very beneficial for me. So it helped immensely. Yes, as tough as it is personally to deal with, I'm immensely happy that I did it. Yes.
Have you sought help, or have you gotten help from other players who have been through this?
Yeah, and obviously I won't name those guys publicly, but everybody kind of knows some of the guys that have been through the program and can be a little more vocal about it. And I've talked to all those guys, played with some of them, really leaned on them, and then some guys that reached out that I had no clue had already gone through it. They did it quietly, right? They did it in June, like it worked for them, but. That kind of support within the National Hockey League I found overwhelming. It was incredible how many guys reached out that I had no prior contact to. It was incredible.
Well, you talk about you dreaded this day, and there's an element of shame to it. But do you understand that you sharing this can be inspirational, and in a way that you can end up being a role model for people?
Yeah, I guess in that sense, there's a silver lining. I'd like to be a role model for other reasons, but obviously, this is everything led me to here, and I wish it hadn't taken so long in the last 3 years for me to get to where I am, but I would urge anybody. I read so many articles about other players in certain capacities that I had a lot of time on my hands that I drew parallels with a lot of guys. So if there's anybody that I guess hears it in some sense and can recognize something and find a way to ask for help, hopefully a little less publicly, then I urge them to do it. And I guess there is some silver lining, right? I'm not in on most of the conversations, and I don't know that I have a right to be. I left in the middle of the season. I came back in the middle of the season, so that's okay. Every day I get my schedule that's separate from the team a little bit, and come in and do that, and I'll continue to do that. But I cleared a big hurdle today, and I'll let DJ touch on that if that's something he needs. So I think from here on out, I could be all systems go, but we'll analyze that today and go from there again.
And physical-wise, how good do you feel now compared to, I guess, the last few years?
Incredible. And this is sleep's always been a major issue for me, and that had a lot to do with where I was at. I found ways to kind of learn how to sleep, I guess, in that sense. It's played a major part in being able to turn this off for me. I've ran into you a few times. You've seen me at Sensplex. I've put in the work. I've had Winchester and Sean Donovan every single day. Pat Malloy. I've skated so many circles in the past 2 months. I lost count a long time ago. So this is the best I felt. I've redone all the fitness testing because that was another hurdle, and scored better even than camp. So I feel great, and hopefully it translates. I probably, it's that playoff push. It's a tough time of year to come back. And I'm sure I'll get in and have an adjustment period for a game.
Would you say this is the most at peace that you've felt with yourself in a long time now? Yeah. I think a lot of what I've been through is very public, in not just this regard, but every familiar stuff, and it's not a catalyst for it, but it's a lot of it. I had a lot of issues surrounding that, and I think for a very long time, I don't think I know now, that for a very long time, I just kind of put my head down and never dealt with any of it. Checked the metaphorical boxes, right, from the time I was 15 on, and I got hit with waves of it in the past little while, and haven't handled any of those waves right for a long period of time. And things just continued to escalate for the last 3 years, right? So, my therapy is going to continue, and it's not fun, but it's something that I need to be able to let go and put in my past, and I've started to do that. But I feel great. Yeah, I feel great and at peace with a lot of it, and I'm still continuing to, I guess, let go of some more of it.
What do you think the feeling would be like when you score your next goal if you get that opportunity?
Kind of like a reset button, right? People have reservations about where I'm at in my career and contract, and I understand that. But I'm not saying I'm going to come out of this and play to the $7 million guy that I want to be as much as everybody else does. But this is a chance for me to reset and prove that I still have some years left in this league, and I can do what I want to. I can play, I can contribute, and in a sense, I hope it's at home because my wife and kids will be here for that, and they've earned this as much as I have.